What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Guys, came across an interesting video. Why do Australians have strange accents? This is from David Harper, Antiques TV. Now, I always wonder because me personally, I like the Australian accent. So, and I know people told me plenty of times, um, being from Texas, I have an accent. Of course, living here all my life, I never really just thought about it, but I know I can tell just from if I was to go different places, like I've been to Florida, been to New York, of course, been to Europe and stuff now, and you can just tell a difference. You can tell a difference with accent, at least state to state. But I've had people tell me or ask what part of Texas was I from, within Texas, because they were like, you're not from this part of town. Of course, you have those times where you might have some stranger like moments, but just by the way you speak in your accent, some people can tell that you're not from that side of town. I know I got to experience some Australia and New Zealand when I went to an NRL game. So, yeah, that's all I heard. So it was a pretty cool experience. Got a little bit of Australia experience, at least before I get there. But let's check this out. See why Australians have strange accents.
Did you know that Britain has more regional accents per square mile than any country on the planet? Yes, it does. And the reason I'm going to tell you this, well, I think it's very interesting, is because I've just been chatting to a pair of Australians here in Canterbury, Kent. This is
Canterbury,
the famous Canterbury Cathedral where Thomas a Becket was murdered in 1170.
Oh, wow.
I think it was 1170. Google it. The video's not about it.
1170.
It's about accents. And I was talking to these Australians who knew me from Antiques TV shows and YouTube, in fact. Thank you for following. And I said to them, I love your accent. And they said, oh, thank you very much. I said, where does your accent come from? And they said, what do you mean, where does it come from? We're Australian. I said, yes, but how did your accent develop?
How did it come about?
Into the Australian accent? They had no idea. They'd never even thought about it. Probably rightly so. Why would you? But I researched it for my book. Here it is, A Bash with the British Empire. So if it's in here, it's got to be true.
Yeah, I never thought about that because, like I said, being at the NRL game, I really couldn't tell a difference when it came to Australia and New Zealand. I'm sure y'all can. If you're Australian or New Zealand, a New Zealander, I'm sure you can tell a difference and know it. But I just know for me, I couldn't tell a difference. But here in the States, and it's not even because I've been to certain states, you just know the certain accent or the certain style too that comes from that different state. So that's why I always be surprised when people ask me, like, what part of Texas am I from? Just because I have a Texan accent. I don't know if y'all ever just heard me and like, oh yeah, you from Texas. Especially, I say it all the time, but I'm telling you, it's different. I never thought about it. Because as long as you hear, you don't think anybody have an accent. Now, some people do have some slang that they use and stuff like that, and it's some slang that's not from here type of thing.
And I discovered British Empire, so if it's in here, it's got to be true. And I discovered that the Australian accent was first noted in 1820, and the authorities there at the time were bemused by this accent that the colonial children were coming out with. And so they looked into it, and they deduced that this Australian accent was a mix of all the British accents in one, and it had never been heard in Britain before, and there's a very good reason for that. Because the accent had developed with English, Irish, Scottish, and Welsh peoples all being put together in little townships in Australia.
Wow.
Now, this accent had never developed in Britain because these peoples ordinarily would never meet one another ever if they remained in Britain. So it was only when they got to Australia
an interesting fact right there.
did they meet for the very first time. And so when you put people from Edinburgh, Dublin, London and Glasgow together, then within a generation or two, their accents mix, and the children of the settlers, the colonials, the children of these people, develop a new accent. It would happen today.
That's
And this was
crazy.
noted in Australia for the very first time, the Australian accent. The same can apply to, of course, the New Zealanders in 1820.
That's some interesting stuff right there. Like you said, just imagine like having all those accents, all those languages mixed. That's interesting. I never thought about it like that, man. You learn something new every day. This was definitely new for me, and it's just an interesting thing, especially just been learning about Australia culture. Need to do more Australia slang videos. Get up on the slang. But I love the Australian accent. You know, reading the comments here, somebody said we Aussies don't have an accent. It's only people in other countries who have accents, while our speech is as pure as our sunshine. That's funny. That is funny though. I didn't think I had an accent until I traveled overseas. It was then I discovered that I could distinctly hear another Aussie from a long way off. I'm telling you, I can, and this is if I go to another state. I can definitely hear another Texan. You can tell when somebody's from Texas, just because like it's different parts, different slangs, different everything, and I can just tell a difference. I don't know, it's weird, but I can tell a difference. It's just very weird. Um, and you know, even just being a Texan, you can tell when somebody that's visiting from another state. You know, I can tell if somebody's from New York, California. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I never thought about it. You never think about it until you do travel and you start hearing a lot of different, and then something similar comes along, and that will kind of spark you right there. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about this video. Y'all let me know. Do you ever? Because I'm sure, I don't know, when it comes to Australia, like, do people in Melbourne sound different from people in Sydney? People in Sydney sound different from people that live in the Gold Coast, and, you know, Adelaide. I said Adelaide. But, you know, I have a student. But, yeah, man, it's a lot when it comes to these languages, man, that you just never think about. But this was good. I need to check out more David Harper. See what he got. And we got a little British, you know, history as well. Just imagining all those languages combining to make an Australian accent. That's some interesting stuff, man. Now it makes me want to take a deep dive into how a lot of these languages came about. I know a little bit how it started, but just seeing how all of them came about, man. But that's all I have. Y'all send down those recommendations for your boy to check out. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Can you tell my Texan accent? Let me know if you can too. If you've been, I mean, you probably never been to or watched some Texan type of TV shows or so. Let me know. I probably sound like I'm Texan, then I probably don't. I don't know. But y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.